Jason Boyle back here again with David Hammond. We're going to look at another video here. So what's happening here? This is for your aunt.
My aunt was suffering from heat exhaustion one day.
So she's suffering from heat exhaustion.
And I called 911. And as per normal, anytime 911 gets called here, it's got to be a police emergency.
Right. So you called 911 because she's suffering. And I want to make something clear. You've taken on your aunt, and you've taken on her care, but you have no legal responsibility for your aunt. Your aunt has moved into a trailer behind your house at this point. She's living with a lot of cats in a trailer. The conditions are not good in a lot of ways, I think. But nonetheless, this man's providing care for this woman under no legal responsibility. So you realize she's having heat exhaustion.
Well, I know that she's having some kind of distress. I found out from the paramedics that it was heat exhaustion that they thought she.
And so you've called 911, and of course, because it's Mr. Hammond's house, it's an emergency, and they're going to send out not just an ambulance, but the sheriff as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's let it go. Make sure the volume's turned up too.
So what's going on?
Are you her nephew?
Nephew, yeah.
Okay. I think she's just suffering from a little bit of heat exhaustion.
How
one
hot
thing
is it in here?
It gets up pretty hot in there. But sometimes
Have you been in there?
No, I haven't. But EMS has. And she's showing symptoms of heat exhaustion. One thing she was concerned about was her cats. Do you want to go in there and look for the food, or do you want me to do it? But she's giving me permission to do it.
Go on in there then.
All right.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, yeah, because the conditions aren't great, right?
The conditions
You're
are
good
horrible.
experience what cats are all about. Kitty, kitty, kitty. There you go. To the hospital?
Yeah, she's going to the hospital.
She'll need her phone. Thank you, sir. Got marks all over. You got something to wipe it off on?
There's cat pee on the bowl, the food bowl, right? Is that what they're talking about?
No, the cell phone that she had laying on the floor is what I was picking up to hand to my aunt, but it had cat urine all over it.
So her cell phone was on the floor with cat urine, and so you're getting a towel from the ambulance driver
To clean it off.
to clean the, yeah. And again, it seems to me like people want to paint this as a picture of you, the care of this woman,
Right.
but you've given her a place to live when she had nowhere to live.
She's from Connecticut. Me and my mom drove up to Connecticut because she was threatening suicide if nobody come help her. And she told us herself that she was going to end herself if nobody come up there to help her. And she was, I realized that she could have been just saying that to make her urgent, to let me know this is urgent to her. So I still took it seriously when she said that.
Yeah.
And I went there because I love this woman. She raised me part of my life. I mean, this is the same woman that I sent $4,000 to after we got into our car accident and helping her pay the bills because I was the one that called DSS on my grandmother in Connecticut because they had cat hoarding conditions up there and I knew that it wasn't a safe place for my grandmother to be at. But when I did that, I didn't understand the circumstances that I was doing, cutting my grandmother out of my aunt's financial safety because all the bills fell on my aunt because my grandmother went to a nursing home and so did her income. So that was cut out.
So this makes sense. So your grandmother and your aunt are living in Connecticut.
Yes,
the conditions are bad because just cleanliness issues and other things like that. And so you were the one that called DSS trying to get the situation resolved, in which case they removed your grandmother from the house.
Correct.
But when they removed your grandmother, it left your aunt destitute because she didn't have the money to pay the bills.
Right.
And so that's when you sent the $4,000 to help cover the bills. And then she's saying that she's going to commit suicide if someone doesn't come and take care of her,
bring her a place, or take her to a place to stay.
take her to a place to stay. But there aren't resources to put her in a nursing home at this time.
No,
So
and she didn't.
She didn't want to go anyways, probably.
No.
So you drive to Connecticut with your mom and David Lee, correct?
Yes.
And then you bring her back here. There's a trailer behind your house that she's living in at this point in the video. I know it's a complicated story, her living arrangement here, but right now she's living in that trailer. So, by all practical definition of that, you're being quite a honorable man in taking care of this woman. I mean, there's no other way to explain that. And so now she's having a heat stroke and she's being put into an ambulance.
Yeah.
So let's let that play.
Check the two. That's actually a good officer right there. You want me to stop back? Thank you.
And you notice that you're saying that that's a good officer right there. So this officer went in to a trailer full of cat piss, got the food, got the cats fed on behalf of your aunt. He had no obligation to do that.
None at all.
And so you're saying this is an example of a good Oconee County officer.
In my opinion, this is probably the finest that they could. This is the finest man that I could see. Someone that offered service with humility, and as a Christian should do. I suspect that this man is a Christian, and an authentic Christian. I know that term gets thrown around loosely, but
That's right.
I suspect that this man is someone that puts to practice the words of the Bible and serves his fellow man instead of using his badge as a way to rule over us.
I mean, I can see that. He looks like an honorable man. Let's keep going.
Okay. That's good looking out, dude.
Yeah.
That is
Try
good
to.
looking out. No shit. You know, this right here will make you famous for either being a piece of shit or a good guy.
It will.
You're a good guy.
Well,
Seriously.
I try to. I appreciate it.
I'm serious.
Wilson.
You must be new.
Wilson.
Since January.
That's good.
I wonder if he survived.
Pedophiles to work at the resource officers over here, don't you?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they busted a resource officer up here at Fair Oaks. Child trafficking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Got two right here at Fair Oaks Elementary. My son went to school over there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's your boss, man. Who knows? He probably likes them too.
I know as soon as they find something out, they correct it. All right.
And maybe we don't need to watch the end of that video, but I mean, here you go. A good officer, Officer Wilson. I agree. He's doing a good job. He's new to the force. It's, I have this kind of blanket philosophy that if officers know other officers are corrupt and they don't do anything, yet they want to come arrest you or me, then I say they're not a good officer. Yeah. This guy, I think he's getting a blank pass from me too at this point because he's new to the force. He clearly doesn't even know about this John Towery who's molesting children on the force. So he's ignorant. I'd be curious if he survived, and if he's still working for the Oconee County Sheriff's Department. If he is, did he end up maintaining his integrity?
I'm afraid of the same thing. I don't think this type of personality fits Oconee County Sheriff's Department. I think that this type of humility is something that is rare and quenched as soon as possible, because this man here with this type of behavior, he actually goes on from this video to go and scoop out the cat food and put it in the cat feeding dish for my aunt's cats that were outside at this point to make sure that they were fed. And I believe he also stopped and watered them too. This guy is actually not anything you would expect for an Oconee County law enforcement officer. He is what's right with law enforcement. I really hope that he didn't keep his integrity. I'd love to think so, at least.
And he's very interesting. So Officer Wilson, we're giving
I'm
him...
going to save this video because this should be one of my favorite videos, because this is law enforcement This is law enforcement at its best, Jason. It really is.
That's right. And we're not, no one thinks that society is going to survive without some version of law enforcement. We need to have law enforcement, but we need law enforcement that acts with humility and that's held accountable when they don't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll see. Officer Wilson, from Jason Boyle, thank you for setting a tone, and I hope you're still out there doing good work in Oconee County. If you are, I might try to track you down and get a comment.
If you still are. And if you aren't, I'd love to hear the story that made you leave if you did leave. I really would love to check to see what happened to this guy, because he's a good one.
All right. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you letting me show that video.
Yeah, because I always want to make the cops look bad.
Yeah.
David.
I was like, damn, man, he's painting all of them like they're the bad guys. They're just waiting to kill you.
In just Oconee County, I want to reiterate that I don't do that to all officers. I give all officers a fair shake. I just see Oconee County Sheriff's Department is so corrupt with Jimmy Dixon and Barry Owens and Mike Crenshaw and all these just corrupt officers.
Who's the one that hires them, though? Who's the
Sheriff Crenshaw. But Sheriff Crenshaw, see, I don't have anything of Sheriff Crenshaw actually committing crimes. There's some rumor that he got fired by the old Sheriff Singleton before he was elected sheriff. And the reason he got fired, supposedly, was that the sheriff put a GPS tracker on his car and he was cheating on his wife and going and seeing some mistress. And again, this is just a rumor I heard.
Wow.
But that's why he was fired by Singleton, because they were tracking his patrol car to his mistress's house and he was spending a lot of time there while on the clock. But then after he was fired, supposedly he ran for sheriff. I don't have ways of validating these stories. If anyone has a way of validating any of that and you're out there, that'd be great. So that's just a rumor. But Mike Crenshaw, although I don't have direct evidence of him being a criminal per se, what we do have is that he covers up for corrupt cops aggressively. So if you file a police report or a complaint report against an officer, Mike Crenshaw makes sure that report ends up in the circular file and is never seen again. So he's just covering for bad cops, which makes him a dirty cop himself.
Oh, so bad.
But yet he hired this guy somehow. Where's this man, and is he still out here?
I doubt.
I doubt it too. Hey, that was a good video. Thank you.
Thanks, man.